not to kick Ohio teams when they're down, but being a Wolverine, these things happen. Joe Burrow, what he must be thinking, right? But he has played in some meaningful games, though, as a Bengal, right? Things were corners being turned. Now, Hendrickson is going to go somewhere else. They did get Boye Mafe, but here does come Max Crosby in a division that he already has to see T.J. Watt twice, and also has to see Myles Garrett twice. So what do you think's going through Burrow's mind? Because he could be sitting here thinking the same thing that you just described to potentially what Garrett's thinking.
Well, right? Here's my challenge to the Cincinnati Bengals, Rich. If offense was going to win you a Super Bowl and continuously keep you in the playoffs, you would be in the playoffs every single year when Joe Burrow is healthy, right? That's another issue that has to get corrected. His availability needs to become more pressing and more prevalent than it's been. But ultimately, we know where their issues lie too. Defensively, if this team was middle of the pack last year, they would have made the playoffs. And Joe Burrow in the playoffs, to me, is still one of the scariest things that anybody can face on a road to trying to win a Super Bowl. But unfortunately, this saga with Trey Hendrickson has been going on for 3 years. I rang the alarm 3 years ago, and the Cincinnati Bengals fans lost their mind. Talking about, no, you don't know nothing. Look, he re-signed back. I said, look, man, this is a tumultuous relationship that is not in good standing. And I knew that because Rich, you know how connected we are. And I'm not talking about front office people, or I'm not Adam Schefter. I'm connected to players. They talk. Because I'm never going to divulge any information that they give me, but I get the feeling and the tone and tenure of a lot of these teams in the NFL when it comes to certain individuals and certain players. But for Trey, he had publicly talked about how disparaging it was, the contract negotiation and the things that they were trying to get done. If you, Joe Burrow, and you just listed off the guys that are in this division now from a defensive standpoint, and you have, obviously, T. Higgins and Jamar Chase, and offensively, y'all put up these guarding numbers. It's going to be about stops for the Cincinnati Bengals. And whether they can or can't do that is going to determine how far they actually can go in their division. And that's why, Rich Eisen, you are who you are. Because you got to get out of your division before we start talking about playoffs. Mm-hmm. And right now, if you look at Cincinnati, they the third best team in their division, right? The second best team in their division based on talent from an offensive standpoint. If you can't play in the defense, though, it's going to hinder you like it did last year. And I think Joe Burrow in that offense is good enough to carry the load a lot of the times, but at times they're going to have to step up. And to their credit, they did start to play a little bit better at the end of the year last year. And you could see remnants of why this team could be really, really good when Joe is on and available and pushing the football down the field and doing the things that they were doing. But defensively, they are going to have to get better fast in order to keep this window open for Joe Burrow.
Hey, you made it all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Check us out every single day streaming live on Disney Plus and the ESPN app 12 to 3 Eastern.